If you do not actually take the time to understand the data that you've got, you're essentially just leaving business in the hands of what if or hope. Do not ever leave your customer confused. You need to have brand consistency because never neglect the customer journey. If you neglect any part of the customer journey, you're allowing yourself to create an experience for that customer that could be negative. And for the disruptionists out there, this is a mistake that you cannot make, and that is welcome to the Disruptionists, where the status quo has no seat at the table. I'm Jess Singh, and this is your invitation to join the movement of game-changing, boundary-pushing strategies that will take your marketing, branding, and customer journey to the next level. Let's get disruptive. Today, I really want to talk to you about the 5 biggest branding or marketing mistakes that I commonly see and that you really need to avoid. Let's start at the very top. One of my pet topics, it's about strategy. If you don't have a clear strategy, you are never going to truly achieve the goals that you're setting out there to achieve. And you truly probably won't understand your target audience either. So, a lot of organizations out there do something that I call random acts of marketing. Random acts of marketing, it's not one of my terms, but I love talking about it because it truly tells you that without strategy and just having this random approach to marketing, what are you really and truly getting out there? You know, are you truly actually engaging with the audience that you're trying to reach? Are you actually being able to achieve the goal? So for example, if you're trying to increase sales, if you're just randomly putting some Facebook ads out there, but you're not following through with your sales team in terms of, you know, providing them with the strategy of how to take that lead and how to then convert them into a sale, then it's going to be completely random and it just lacks strategy. So a perfect example of when marketing becomes so random and doesn't have strategy is if you're just posting on social media without having any true thought. One of the big things that we sort of encourage as marketing and branding strategists is that every time you communicate on social media, there should be some kind of purpose. Are you trying to engage that particular person or are you trying to educate them? Without truly having that clear understanding and clear goal, you're basically going to be telling stories that's just going to leave your audience super, super confused. Mistake number 2 is to ignore data. Every business has access to so much data out there about their audience, their customers, what they're doing, where they're having issues potentially. And if you do not actually take the time to understand the data that you've got, you're essentially just leaving business in the hands of what if or hope, right? So one of the things that we really want to avoid is not having control of understanding your customer. A great example of when you're ignoring data is you could have the best landing page in your mind for a new product that you're trying to launch, but something's happening because you're not actually making sales. Now, imagine if you did not take the time to actually look at the amount of people that were actually landing on your page and then comparing that to actually how many people were buying once they landed on that page. There's so many things that we can start investigating as marketers to help you work out what the problem is. Quite often in that example, it could be as simple as maybe you've got the pricing strategy wrong, or maybe what they thought that they were buying was not the same thing as what you're communicating on that landing page. So huge things to investigate. And another reason why ignoring data is a mistake that you really and truly need to avoid. So as a branding strategist, the next mistake, it's all about inconsistent branding, and we hate that in our industry. Why? Because you're going to leave your customers super confused. Am I dealing with a company that is super innovative and all about technology, but then when I jump on their page, it's super boring. The brand colors and the images that are being used have got nothing to do with innovation. Do not ever leave your customer confused. You need to have brand consistency because it's It's a game out there to win clients and to keep clients and customers, right? So essentially, without the consistency, how do they know that you're someone worth trusting? How do they know that you're a brand to keep coming back to and that the stuff that you sell is of the highest quality, that the things that you say are credible? Brand consistency is just one other indicator that these guys know what they're doing, they're credible, and they're trustworthy. So this brings us to mistake number 4. It's all about the customer as well. And what I'm going to ask you to really consider is never to neglect the customer journey. What do I mean by that? Well, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but the customer journey isn't just about when you market and advertise to them, but it's about what you're going to do once you've acquired that customer and all the way through to the end after they've actually experienced your product or service. If you neglect any part of the customer journey, you're allowing yourself to create an experience for that customer that could possibly be negative. It could leave them feeling as if they're not getting what they expected. So I think this is where one example for me that comes to mind is it's a sneaker brand. They're fully sustainable. And one of my favorite things about the customer journey as one of their first time purchasers was just how they decided to package the product. So not only was it a cool sort of experience in terms of buying and the messages that they were sort of selling and promoting on their website about creating shoes that were also great for the environment. Well, at the part of the customer journey where I actually got to receive the package and open up the box, it was one of the best experiences for me to actually have a company that had like all these extra details in there about how they were sustainable, meaning that the customer journey from the time that I actually heard about them, which was in a blog post, to then jumping on their website where they, showed me that they were quite cool and innovative, to then delivering those pair of shoes in a way that was just, packaged nicely. They did not neglect the customer journey. And I ended up buying about 4 or 5 pairs of shoes. And for the disruptionists out there, this is a mistake that you cannot make, and that is failing to adapt. In the marketing landscape, things are constantly evolving, and adaptability is so crucial. So what do I mean by that? That's when there's folks like myself who, when I heard of TikTok coming along, I'm thinking, do I really need to have myself on there making, dance moves, this and that? What it makes me think about is not to completely ignore that new channel, but to actually think about how I can adopt it to my audience and to my brand. The worst thing I could do is completely say no and fail to actually give it a chance and potentially lose out on a huge audience and a new way of engaging with the people that actually love me and love my brand. So failing to adapt isn't just about, jumping onto the latest trend or the new channel out there. It's also just about really understanding what's happening in your industry and also the fact that your customers' preferences are always changing. Things are happening so fast in our society that in order to be adaptable, you cannot always look at business through the lens of we've always done it this way. So if there's anything that I can encourage you to do is to constantly thrive and look at new ways to attract the same customers who have very, very changing, preferences and desires. Just always keep in touch with who they are and how they're changing. So one of the first things we talked about was the importance of making sure you have brand consistency. Stop ignoring the data that's in your business and right in front of your face. Make sure you use it to your advantage. My favorite area is to make sure you always have a clear strategy, because otherwise you're at the risk of hope or random acts of marketing. And of course, let's not forget neglecting the customer journey and failing to adapt. Once you've got these 5 things covered, and you're constantly thinking about them, you will find new success within your business and you'll be wondering why anybody else would be neglecting them. So if you are actually, having issues with any of these particular mistakes, don't worry. Number one place to start it is to go back and look at your own marketing and branding strategy. If you simply start there, it will be amazing how easy it is for you to start looking at what are considered as other mistakes, such as ignoring data. With a clear strategy, you know exactly what you're looking for, how to use that data, and so forth. You can always come to someone like myself who's a professional in these areas and help you and guide you along the way. So good luck. Thanks for joining me on The Disruptionists. If this episode sparked new ideas or challenged your thinking, I'd love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe to your favourite platform to catch every disruptive insight. For more behind-the-scenes content and to connect with like-minded disruptors, follow me at It's Jess Singh across all social platforms. And remember, stay disruptive.